Let me explain something that I think a lot of people don't know or don't realize. Awakening means for something to no longer be numb. Awakening means to become aware of something that you previously was not aware of. A lot of men are just now developing their emotional body. And if not having emotions was a survival mechanism to navigate the 3D world, and we know that that's true, well, feeling these emotions is going to be raw, it's going to be uncomfortable. And if that man is afraid of his feminine nature, his feminine side, to feel his emotions, he's going to run inside of himself. He's going to constantly be in internal conflict with himself. If that man has not done the soul work, that means that his ego has been in the driver's seat. And the ego is the version of us that develops as a result of trauma that we experience from womb to age 7 or 8. If the root chakra is not properly balanced, he will not feel safe being vulnerable. He will feel like it's a risk not worth taking. And within his DNA, within his epigenetics, he also has the cellular memory that remembers what happened when 4 generations ago showed weakness, showed vulnerability, showed emotion. See, what we have to realize is that we have been socially engineered to have the neurosis, the issues that we have. How to sell things to a Negro. Watch that documentary, How to Market to a Negro. Tavistock Institute. And it goes back farther even than that. So you have to realize that if men were buck broken, and we know that men in previous generations were, that passes down epigenetically. So to try to get a man to be comfortable sharing his feelings is foreign to him. And not only is it foreign to him, but it's like having a toothache because your tooth has a hole in it. And for the first time, the numbing medicine is wearing off and it had not been healed yet. It's going to be raw. And every little bitty thing can be a trigger and hurt them or their feelings because they have been existing in the avatar of the ego, which is the false self. The first sign of a man who is not integrated and has not done enough of the healing journey that he is being called to is that you will notice fragility, especially around emotional things. See, men were victims to the patriarchy just as women were. Men have not been fit to lead. They knew this from the beginning, but they pushed them out in the front. They pushed them to get into power struggles, to be competitive, to everything was ego, ego, ego. For a man to become a man and he doesn't have any elders with ancestral wisdom around him to help him go through ceremonies of becoming a man, he's going to become a man by going through the society's standards of becoming a man. So they didn't get a chance to really develop their emotional body, their emotional sense of self. This is being triggered right now and it's coming online, and for most men it's coming through women. Women are mirrors that you cannot get away from. And we're becoming more reflective. The clearer we get, the less cloudy the image is. And so they're actually seeing their shadow self projected out into women. And so with this happening, you have to wonder, well, how does that affect mental health? For a man to know that I'm really not efficient enough to lead because I'm emotionally unstable. I know this, even if I'm hiding it. I know, I feel it. But I'm in this position where I've been told I am the head of the household. I am the leader. I must lead. I must make all of these decisions. I must be the protector. I must be the provider. And that was the only thing in 3D Matrix made important for the journey of a boy becoming a man. So he didn't develop anything outside of the physical material realm of this 3D matrix, which is a false womb matrix. Okay, we've been in a holding space. It's not just men. Everybody on this planet, we have been numbed. One of the main numbing agents, not just entertainment, not just the things that are in the food, but monotheistic religion numbed us. It was an opioid to comfort us and rock us back to sleep, even though we were supposed to be awakening. Now that we have cleared the age of Pisces, which anchored that monotheistic religion, and going into the age of Aquarius, we no longer feel roots in those places, and we're actually starting to see the downside of monotheistic religion and a lot of the terrible things that have happened to children and women in the name of spreading religious beliefs. You can't dispute it. It's right here in our hands for anybody to research it with an open mind and an open heart. So we want to, what do you do if you're in a relationship and you're going through the awakening, you're receiving these DNA activations, your heart is coming online, which means the ego is taking a back seat. Well, if that's all a man has ever known, he's not going to immediately feel safe to be himself, to be vulnerable, to be open, honest, transparent. And what we must realize is that we got in relationships with men who 9 times out of 10 are suffering with complex PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm not going to get into whether or not slavery happened or not. We know slavery has occurred on every continent on this planet, and it epigenetically embedded into us a form of psychological oppression. So if he feels inadequate, think about the story not just being bug broken, right? Because that's trauma that's going to pass down many generations, at least 14, based on my research. But not only that, but a lot of them watched their women be beat and raped. We can't ignore the fact that these terrible things have happened and they left an imprint. And there's a collective psyche that we are all here experiencing this. And then there's the separate psyche, which is what I work with by delving into the Akashic records. And I see this in every record that I look into. So, the goal is to self-care, learn to self-soothe, learn to be more emotionally resilient, take a risk. Trust is always a risk. You never know what's on the other side of trust, but you can make these decisions to open up and trust more by having certain boundaries and standards for when you do feel safe to be open. And this is why a lot of women are struggling right now, because men didn't know how to create safety for women outside of material things. And so now we're in a new energy, a new ecosystem, a new currency. And the new currency is love. That new currency is energy. So try to be gentle if you're in a relationship with a man, especially from certain communities, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Try to see him through the lens of your own trauma. Enforce your boundaries, absolutely. Don't lower your worth. Don't settle for things that you know are just not a vibrational match for you. But practice being compassionate. Practice seeing someone who may be a little boy locked in an adult man's body, and he can't confess that to anybody because his reputation, his career, his job, his everything may be resting on the self that he built in ego. It's going to take some time. But as we merge to 5D, to the new earth, men who are working to heal the feminine aspect of themselves, they're going to be able to be more integrated, and they will be able to hold space for a woman without being attached to what she go do for me if I do this for her. Because see, that's old earth, right? And if you listen to me, that means that you've been called to the new earth. All right, so Campson, the Egyptian wind just wanted to come through and blow through and share something with you, because I realized that a lot of people are dealing with this and they don't understand. Men are feeling for the first time, and that's scary for them, but they will be okay. Let them walk their own journey. They're sovereign beings.